On this episode of Delivering Marketing Joy, I get a chance to talk with Kenny Ved, and he tells us why he's in the business of fun. Hey there, and welcome to a brand new edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. I'm your host, Kirby Hossman, and joining me today, VP of Sales, all-around fun and friendly guy, Kenny Ved is joining me today as a repeat guest. Kenny, thanks so much for joining me, bud.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. How does it go? Long-time listener, second-time caller?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, baby.
Exactly. So I want to jump right into your funness, as it were. So you and Charles Dugan have become known in the industry for being silly and having fun. You call yourself the Simplicity Brothers. What was the inspiration for that sort of persona, let's call it? Was it like an aha moment, hey, we should do this, or has it sort of developed over time?
That's a very good question, and I will start out. You know, my Simplicity brother Charles Dugan is my partner in crime.
Yeah.
If we'll just go off on a tangent, we think of something, boom, let's execute and see what happens.
I love that.
Right. I mean, that's what it's all about. So the way it started, it was actually pretty interesting. So I travel a lot, as most people know, and I was on social media and I saw someone post a happy birthday photograph of the Step Brothers. But they had superimposed their faces on the characters. So I'm on the flight, I'm like, all right, shot Charles a text or an email. I'm like, can you do this for us? So he whipped it out, sent it back, and I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. This is great. We fired it off to a couple people, customers, and see what kind of response we got. And it was we got something.
Yeah.
And that evolved into, us doing a complete photo shoot with us in the sweaters. We got Paul Bellantone and Dale Denham doing the exact same thing. And then we got the whole team involved. And now we're the Simplicity Brothers, also known as Fun DMC.
I love it. And you did some branded swag. I know this because I got
tons of swag.
Yeah,
tons
socks.
Of swag.
Yeah.
So we've got all kinds of partners. We got Terrytown, we've got Maple Ridge, we got Stride Line socks, and we did some caps. We got all kinds of cool things cooking, but in our industry, it's like we teach people how to promote, and sometimes I feel that we're the weakest at it.
Yeah.
So here we are, just kind of selling the Goldstar story, but with other folks' swag, and it's kind of taking a life of its own. I mean, it's a lot of work, I'll tell you that. I mean, what people see in the front end is just the fun side of it, but behind the scenes, it's an orchestra, right? People have to feel that journey, that experience all the way through, not just here's a pen with a logo on it, move on.
Yeah. Well, I like that. It is a lot of work having this much fun, right? I like that.
It is.
Yeah, that's right. All right, cool. So that's awesome. So I think, I talk a lot about this. I think one of the secrets of success today is to give out joy. And certainly that's something you're doing. I think we live in the sea of negativity, and being joyful makes you stand out. And it's certainly been true of you. So why do you think so few organizations, you just sort of mentioned it, like not only are they not doing branded merchandise, but they're not being joyful intentionally. Why do you think so few organizations are purposeful about this?
I think it's just, it starts with the company culture. Mm-hmm. I think management or folks within the organization have to believe and feel it. Mm-hmm. And I can't really speak to other companies as I don't work for them, but from a Goldstar standpoint, we live it, we breathe it. It's all about the experience and the journey that you have with us. And we treat all of our team members with tremendous respect, make sure that they're happy and they feel whole in their life. And we want to share that with our distributor partners. It's fantastic. But I think it's just, we're in a healthy business environment right now. So let's all have some fun. We're all going to have our challenges, but that's part of it, right? We get paid because there's problems.
Yeah. That's a great point.
Why, right? If it were easy, everybody would be doing it.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, final question for you. Yeah. You are, kind of legendarily, and you just referenced it, kind of a road warrior. You're on the road a lot, and you have a family. So
I do.
I just tasted a small amount of this, where I did some road shows because I was doing some speaking. And man, I am so impressed by the people who really do it well. I mean, I survived it, right? But there are people who really do it well. So what do you think the secret to having success in business and still having a good family life? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's really staying connected with the folks at home. And I've adapted over the years, doing this for over 20 years with travel. And I've adapted to technology in terms of communication with my kids and my family. It's, hey, if they're on Instagram, then I'm going to communicate via Instagram. If they're on Snapchat, I'm going to communicate via Snapchat. And that's kind of the driving force with my videos of whoever follows me on my stories that's how I communicate with my kids, and they absolutely love it. And now they're on TikTok. Well, you know what? Dad's going to make a TikTok video in his hotel room or wherever he's at and send it to him. And when I come home, it's just a different vibe because they know that Dad has to go to work this week, but he was still connected me in some way.
Yeah.
And then every morning, without fail, Monday through Friday, if I'm home or if I'm traveling, they get an inspirational meme or image just of how I'm feeling that day, or just maybe something to inspire them every single day without fail. So that's just kind of my way of doing it. And it keeps me connected with the kids, and be that hip, fun dad.
I love it. Well, number one, I love that you're intentional about it, because I think that's how you get away from it, is that when you're like, oh, I'll get to it, because then you don't. And I'll tell you, the thing that struck me is that's exactly right. I am on Snapchat because my daughters were early adopters in Snapchat. And I was like, oh, the best way for me to communicate with them is Snapchat. And so I hopped on. And it turns out I really enjoy that platform. And it occurs to me that that's the best way to communicate with clients too. I think so many times we try to drive our clients into the way we want to communicate, as opposed to replying to them on the platform that they choose.
Exactly. Yeah. Our what's your choice of method of communication? I will adapt.
Yeah.
And it seems to be working. It's so one of the things that I do is, I get into a hotel room and they just think it's this glamorous life.
Yeah.
Well, like as soon as I walk into a hotel room, I park my luggage and I do a video and I send it back home of what that Hampton Inn looks like that day.
Yeah. Something like that.
We've got a couple of folks in the industry that take a picture of their view from the hotel room.
Yep.
But I send it back home because they can see what I'm going through, because I know what they're going through. I know their routine every day. And it's a different appreciation of when I come home.
Yeah, I think that's totally true, because I agree with you. That was the thing that I came home. I'm like, you think of travel as this glamorous lifestyle. You don't realize, sort of, God, what city am I in? What day is it?
Exactly. It's everything but that, right?
Yeah,
right.
It's exactly right. So cool, man. So you have taken the time. I appreciate it. You've answered my 3 questions. I give everybody a chance to ask me one question. Do you have one for me?
I do have one for you. Well, first of all, I want to congratulate you on your success. Like, it's awesome. It's so awesome to see over the years and just the progression. So my question to you is, who is Kirby Hausman going to be in 2 to 3 years?
Wow, that's a really good one. Nobody's asked me that. You know what? I don't know that I'm going to be radically different. I don't foresee a new business on the horizon. I've doubled down on continuing to grow this business. So where I'm at today is really trying to grow as a leader. And I think you know me pretty well. One of the ways that I invest in that is by reading a lot, listening to books and reading a lot. And so what I've shifted to is much more leadership based. So, when I first started reading, it was a lot more sales. Then it was a little bit more entrepreneurial, and I was trying to grow in those areas. One of the places I'm investing is in leadership. I want to get better at that. And I think everybody on the team gets stronger if I get stronger at that. And then really just kind of personal development. And again, I think I do that from a leadership perspective. And what I mean by that is, I have daughters who are 18 and 21 sort of respectively. And then I've got my wife who's leading sort of a whole nother project, and I want to be there for them. And so I think that when they're younger, you can just tell them what to do.
Right.
Right. When they're 21, they don't have to listen at all.
Right.
It's about treating them with respect, but then also trying to guide them in a way that hopefully will lead them where they need to go. So if anything, I want to be a better leader in 2 to 3 years, if that's fair.
That's awesome. And I think that applies to everybody, right? Like, we all want to better ourselves in a certain way. So I got to give a shameless plug right here. I have to do it. Come get your copy right here on Amazon.
Oh, man.
I was fortunate enough to get an autographed copy. Can you see it? Oh, no. There. Wait. I'm going to show you an autograph. There it is right there.
Okay.
So get your copy, meet Kirby in person, get it autographed. It'll be worth something someday.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that.
Right on, man. Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate you.
All right. Well, hey, we will do it again sometime. And that's going to wrap up this edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. We'll see you next time.